has shown good things and shown that history in Europe, history in Asia, in Japan, in America, in Africa is a lie. But if David speaks about the Middle East, oh no, he's not allowed to do that. Yeah. For some reason. But anyway, many people from a Muslim background have contacted me and they said, hey, what about the Muslim regions? You've shown that Jerusalem is a fake, but what about the rest? Like there's a comment there I've shown you here that people are showing that up to about 20 million people are visiting Karbala in Iraq. Can you see it? Most
Yeah.
of these are Shia Muslim. Yes. And so this is today. Yes. So now the main thing is, let's just look at Karbala today. Yes. Now the thing is, Karbala seems like an amazing place today. Yes. That if anybody went there, somebody would say, oh, it's a big city like Marseille or Lyon in France, and the population is 1.2 million. Yes. It possibly would have been 1.5 million if the Iraq war and the invasion didn't take place. But now let's look carefully at this place. What is Karbala? Yes, now Karbala is an amazing place. It looks very beautiful. Anybody who goes there will be amazed by it. Yes, and the thing is, if there's 20 million people going there, especially from the region, about 20 million people are going there because many of these people cannot get visas to go to another country. Yes, let me just show you what this place looks like. It's got shrines there, religious shrines, Islamic shrines that people will think they've been told they're modern, ancient, many centuries old, going up to about 1,000 years old. Yeah, can you see the picture? Have you seen what
Yes.
this place looks like?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the thing is, let me show you an example of the visitors because it's just amazing. Yeah, millions of people are going there, and it's just so amazing to see so many people go there that people will think that this must be something, this must be really ancient or something. Yeah, and it's like the Vatican City, it's like Istanbul, it's like Mecca. Now, some people have said, hey, more people go there than the Muslim Hajj in Mecca. That's because you need a visa to go to Hajj, and they limit the number of people that can go there in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
This is one. Hajj has got a lot to do about business and making money, so they make sure that you've got a bit more money, yes, to go there. So now this place looks amazing. So now, to maintain so many people there, you need to provide food. You need to provide many things. Like, let's see what is officially said about the visitors. Then you'll have an idea. Yes. The thing is, you'll have an idea. The thing is, let me just see that. Does it say how many people are visiting? Let me just show Karbala visitors, and then let's see how many people. And then they're giving out millions of meals. So the thing is, the people who go there, they've got to eat, they've got to stay somewhere, things like this. And so the thing is, there's got to be transport networks, roads, everything that you can get there. It is a desert region, the Middle East. Yes, so we can do that today because there's roads, there's buses, there's coaches, and there's many other things. So that's why it's possible to go there. But oh my God, let me see. Just for the roads to go there on the Pilgrim's Road, yeah, 27,000 meals, yeah, served by the Imam Hussein Holy Shrine. There's a shrine there, Imam Hussein. So the thing is, 27,000 meals, damn, just a day. Yeah, for example, just what do you call it? The Ibn Abbas, or no, is it called Al Abbas? Yeah, Al Abbas Holy Shrine. During some festival or something, maybe a weekend or a few days, they gave more than 1 million meals. So they're giving out, all year millions of meals. So you've got to have a food supply going there and everything. Yes. If you don't have the food supply, you can't have the visitors.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So now the thing is, Yes, let me look at this. Um, 12 million meals. I think they were offered free as well. So you need a lot of cash as well. Many people who are coming up poor, maybe free, maybe not. I don't know. Al Askari Shrine in Samara City. There's three major shrines there for the Shia Muslims. One's in Al Askari Shrine in Samara, and then we've got Karbala and we've got Najaf. Yeah. So what do you call it? Yeah. So it seems something amazing. So people are going to think, ah, they must have been doing this for centuries. Isn't this what anybody would assume? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So now let's have a look. Yes, that the population of this place, Karbala, yeah, was only 44,150 people in 1947. Even in 1957, it was only 60,000. So now if we go back to 1900, yes, it's even worse. Let's see the population of Karbala in the year 1900. It's a village, 29,000 people. That's the size of Aston in Birmingham and Lozells put together. Just, you know, two estates, two small estates in the city of Birmingham. We're talking 30,000 people here. Can you imagine how many people lived here in 1850? 7, 8,000, 10,000 maximum. So now let's have a look at photographs of this place 100 years ago. And then when one looks at photographs from 100 years ago, it makes you wonder. Now here is Karbala in 1915 when the population is about 30,000. Have you got this picture? What we can
Yes.
see is that you know, it's a small village, yeah, and the people who took the photos that day, they must have brought their camera equipment, and the crowd that came with them took the photos, yeah. And what we see is a small walled village, well, not even properly walled, and there's a building there in the background without the gold domes.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing is, what we've been told is that Karbala has the shrines of some Islam holy people. Who's exactly buried there? Um, it says um, um, a man called Hussein. He was the grandson of this the man Prophet Muhammad, and yeah, his shrine is here. Yeah, and it's more than 1,000 years old. Yeah. So now in 1,000 years, yeah, if this is supposed to be very big Islamic history, that let me just show you. This Hussein was supposed to be related to a man called Imam Ali. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
And a
Imam
battle in
Ali.
the year 680, if I see this correctly.
Yeah,
So this
we're
is
talking
supposed to
about
be like an ancient, important site, and that's why it's relevant
yeah,
if people are there.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we're talking about 1,000 years ago, and the history of this place is there was a battle called Karbala. Yeah, and if anybody has a look, they'll think, yeah, it's so big. This is such a big thing. The split in Islam, the Sunni and the Shia split. Yes, Karbala. Yes, Karbala is the the main battle that caused it. And the thing is, you know, there's supposed to be the man called Imam Ali, and now he's the big man, yes, in Shia Islam, yes. And what we see here, I'll just provide some basic details, or people will not know what this is about. So now this man called Imam Ali just means the priest, Imam priest, or he's supposed to be the big priest. Yeah, he got assassinated on the 19th of Ramadan in the year 661.
Mm-hmm.
19th of Ramadan. Yes, let's not forget this. And he's supposed to be the main guy. Now, many historians say because the lunar calendar shifts, so on certain years they'll celebrate this on the 20th or the 21st or the 18th. But you know, general historians, they will say it's the 19th of Ramadan. So now the thing is, you know, it's from Imam Ali's family, you know, that is they call them Hassan and Hussein. They got killed. You know, basically his descendants. Somebody wanted to wipe them out. So now I'll go through this from the beginning. Then we don't have to beat round the bush. Yeah. So now when we open up the Old Testament in the Bible, we'll find basically the same story. But Imam Ali is supposed to have lived in the time of the Prophet Muhammad after the Old Testament was written. So the thing is, a story like this shouldn't be in the Bible, should it not? In the Old Testament, it's written centuries before Muhammad is even alive. I
Right,
mean, the Prophet
officially.
Muhammad, yeah, yeah. So now when we go to the Bible, yeah, what we find is that I'm going to go through this so that people understand. It says the Ark of God was taken before King David. Yes, and there was the high priest. His name was Eli or Ali. Yes, and his descendants were slain. Yes, so this is a major story in the Bible. But let's go through some of this. And the thing is, according to the Bible, yes, according to the Bible, let me just send more information. Here is Eli again. His descendants have got slain. And who was Eli? Eli was a special person. Let's or Ali, pronounce it how you want, E or the A. Yes, was a priest of Shiloh or Shula, yes, or Shallow, or however you want to pronounce it. And he was basically the last Israelite judge, or the last king, not king, but the caliph. The Islamic version would be caliph. Yes, he was only succeeded by Samuel, but Samuel was there at the same time as King Saul. He was the last independent. Eli was the last independent to rule basically Israel and Judah. So Imam Ali, in a similar way, has got a similar status. So the thing is, this is described in the Old Testament. This high priest Ali or Eli, yeah. So this Eli, and it shows Samuel was under his care in the young, and you can find it in the book of Samuel in the Old Testament, according to official history, centuries before. So now, what does Eli represent? Let's go through the meaning in Judaism and in Christianity. Yeah, well, Judaism and Christianity, we must remember that before the state of Israel was formed, and before many European Jews went to the Middle East, they were living in Europe, many of them in Northern Europe, and they were living in places like Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, yes, Iraq, Turkey, yeah, Uzbekistan, Russia. So now Eli basically means the high or the elevated priest. It's also a name that sometimes it could mean my God. Yes. So the thing is, Eli, he was like the highest of the highest. Yeah. So now let's go through this. And the thing is, it turns around and says that there was the Bible says that God had placed a curse upon the descendants of Eli, that they're basically going to get it. Yeah. And they were called wicked, that family. So so this is what do you call it in the Bible. Now, the Bible shows that there must be a group of people who actually said that Eli, um, the priest Eli, or Imam Eli, or Imam Ali of the Bible, this Eli in the Bible was worthless. His descendants, in other words, they're bad. We don't want them around. Get rid of them. Yeah. So the thing is, that's what we can see in the Bible. So now the thing is, what we find very strange is that just before King David and King Saul, united the tribes of Israel, yes, what happened was that there was a very big, major battle in the Bible. Same like in Islam, major battle, the Battle of Karbala. Yeah, the names look like they've been changed. And it turned around and says it was a big slaughter. Yeah, 30,000 foot soldiers died. The Ark of God was, they lost it because of this priest Eli or Imam Eli, his sons, etc. And his sons died the same day. Yes, in this battle. It was such a big thing. It even affected when King David became the king. Yeah. Yeah. So the thing is, King Saul became the king just before King David. Yeah, while Samuel became the high priest. Yes, but so this means that Eli was the last independent priest. So now the thing is, let's go back to who are these Hassan and Hussein from the family of Imam Ali. Now, there's two, yeah, who are famous, yeah, called Hassan and Hussein from Imam Ali. Now, from the Bible's priest or Imam Eli, there's two famous men, yes, and those two famous men are called Hophni and Phinehas. Yes. So the thing is, the thing is, those two, Hassan and Hussein, they basically got killed. So now the thing is that the Bible story. Let's go to the next stage. The Bible story says that what do you call it? They were defeated by the Philistines or Philistines. Yes, and when the news of this, it says there was a divine curse on the house, on the house. This is very important. Yeah, because it's. Have you received it? The house of Eli.
Yes.
Yeah. The thing is, what is very important. Yeah. Um, the thing is now the Shia Muslims they put specific. They stress out that the house or the family of Ali, yes, is very important. So here for the priests, this was a very important family, the house of Eli, and it's being persecuted and slaughtered, and the massacring. The major battle happened. So now the same story is in Islam. The family of Ali, the priest, high priest Ali, yes, and the house of Ali, yes, and their descendants, yes, the war is against them, yes, and the Sunni Muslims are on the opposite side. So now King Saul was on the opposite side. So now let's go back to yeah, let's go back to yes, let's go back to the battle that's in the Bible. It's called the Battle of Aphek, Aphek, yeah, described in the first book of Samuel, and it's a major mega battle. Yes, yeah, and they've shown that the location is the Middle East. Yes, yeah, and then after this battle, we now go down to Israel and Judah formed. Israel is formed, and then Judah, and then they split, and then we've got the history of the kings of Israel. Yes, and it says there was Saul, King David, Solomon, and 20 kings ruled over Israel. Yeah, if you remove the first one, there's 19, and then 19 kings ruled over Judah specifically. Once again, we're stuck with this number. Yes. And then what do you call it? How did Eli, yes, Imam Eli or the high priest Eli die according to the Bible? I'm saying Imam so that we can compare it because it's just a different language. Like the word hello in French is bonjour. So I'm just comparing Imam Eli in the Bible and Imam Ali in Islam. So now Imam Eli, he died from a injury to his head. Yes, he died from an injury to his head when he heard that his sons had died. Now, according to Islam, it says that Imam Ali died. Yes, I think maybe he died. First, he was attacked on his head, but a few days later, he died because of the injury on his head. So Imam Ali died from an injury on his head. Yes, and there's a war going on against his family, and Imam Eli died from an injury to his head because there's a war going on. Now, in the Bible, don't forget, there's no vowels. You do know this, yes? Yes, in the Old Testament Hebrew. Let me just send this so that people will know this. So that means Eli and Ali is actually the same name. They invented it and put the letter E there only recently. Yes. So the thing is, these things were added on by the Masoretes. Yeah. The thing is, the Masoretes. Let me just show an example of what the biblical manuscripts actually look like. They look like this. Yeah, this is in my book, Jerusalem is in Europe. Yes, and the thing is, the words are joined together without any vowels. So now the thing is, Eli is actually Ali. Pronounce it how you want. Yeah. So one, it's the same name, and it's a similar thing. And then the thing is, Imam Ali, and a woman becomes famous. Her name is called Fatima. Yes, Fatima Ali descendants. Yes, And what we find, descendants of Fatima, yes, survived, yes, and they're seen as the main branches of Shia Islam, and from Fatima or Fatima. I'm not sure how they pronounce it. And so the thing is, we find a similar thing. There is a famous female in the Bible, yes, linked to this story, yes, and she gives birth to a child, yes, or the descendants would have totally probably been wiped out. So now the thing is, yeah. So now let's move on to the next part. Yeah. So now the Bible, it looks like that the people who wrote the Bible, or the people in power at the time, yes, they condemned this high priest Ali in the Bible. Yes. And they did it. There's no evidence that God wrote the Bible. It turned around and says the guilt of Eli's house will never be forgiven. Never. Yes. So it means that descendants survived. Yes. And the thing is, they must have still been around when the Bible was still being written. Yes. And Fomenko shows that it was still being updated in the 18th centuries and up to the 19th century. Now, if we go to Chabad, a major website in Judaism, yeah, many sects don't accept it, but this is the story of Ali, of the priest Ali. He was from the family of Aaron. Aaron, yes, the prophet Aaron, with Moses, yeah. And it turned around and says, what do you call it? Yes. Let me just go to the important part. And what do you call it? Eli's family still survived. That when King David became king, yes, his grandson became the high priest. But the thing is, this priest Ali in the Bible, he's very special. There's a reason why. Yes. Let me show you why. Yeah. It turned out Chabad even points this out, because um, um, this Ali, because there was no kings in Israel before Saul. So the thing is, it says Ali was the only one in the early days of the history of Judaism, of our people, who wore two crowns. He wore the crown of the judge, or the caliphate, the caliph, as well as being the priest and the imam. You see? And this is as the similar story for Imam Ali. He's an imam and a priest, and he also became Ali became the caliph. Ali became the caliph, the judge, the main leader. Yes, and they say that basically he was the last one. Yeah, same like what's his name? Um, you know, Eli in the Bible. He was the last one too, the last independent one to have both titles. Yeah, but he was basically the last one of, they give it a title Rashidun. The history has been modified a little to make it unique for both groups. Yes. So now the thing is let's see. Yes. So his descendants, they survived. Yes, in the time of King David, we can still find that they're still around. Yes. The grandson Aviatar, depending, many people pronounce it Abiatar, yes. What do you call it? Became high priest, his grandson, yes, but not everybody accepted it. But let's go on. Let me just show you. Sometimes it's written Abiathar because some people, or Aviatar, or depending on how you want to pronounce it. So now the thing is, we can see that even in the family of Eli, basically only basically one or two survived, and it turned around and says that from Imam Ali Zain al-Abidin, yes, he was the only adult male to have survived the onslaught of the Ashura. His role would reach beyond the plains of Karbala. Imam Ali, the son of Hussein, lived on as the voice of the revolution. And they're saying the other people are the tyrants because they rejected this family. Now, this family is very important. Shia Islam is based around this. Yes. And the thing is, if anybody who studies the Old Testament, yeah, in the Bible, what they will find is this. Yes. So the thing is, after after King Saul, yes, had was after the descendants of Eli's descendants, there was a massacre, or you could call it, of all the priests from the descendants of Eli's family. They were basically wiped out, called at the Battle of Nob, or the Massacre of Nob, N-O-B. Yes. So this is one of the biggest massacres in the Old Testament. It's one of the biggest stories. Yes, that's and they're saying God condemned this family. Now, in Sunni Islam, many people, they reject the authority of the family of Imam Ali. Let me just show you. Yeah. Um, yeah. Let me just see. The thing is, now the Shia Islam Muslims, they turn around and say that these people from the family of the priest Ali, yes, Imam Ali, are perfectly pure, etc. And so they've been chosen and selected by God. Yeah. Um, so the thing is, most Sunni Muslims, um, um, it is known that they don't follow the authority of people within this family. Now, many people claim, or many people say they are from this family. Yes, and now when you look at the word Ali, yes, now the thing is, here, I've sent you a page. It shows that many Sunnis dislike, or they're against the Ahlul Bayt. Yes, this means the family of this Imam Ali. Yes, so many Sunnis rejects this. Yeah, I was going to say something important about this. What was it? Imam Ali and the Bait. Let's see. The house. Imam Ali. Um, yes. So now, if you go to Syria, yeah, what you will find is that many people who follow, there's different versions of this following this Imam Ali. Now, in Syria, for example, yes, there is a group of people called the Levites. Yes, Levites, and they follow Imam Ali. You understand? Yeah, and they say he's the physical manifestation of God. Physical manifestation of God.
Uh-huh.
Yes, this is very important. Yes, because what do we find? Yeah, yeah. What do we find is the meaning of Eli, or the high priest in the Bible, and the meaning is conveyed as he is. It could also mean my God. You understand? So now this is the same meaning for the Alawites today. So now, if we just cross the border from Syria to Turkey, which is next door, yeah, there is a group of people, yes, what do you call it, yes, which is very, very surprising. Yeah, yeah. Let me just it's putting alleviates. I didn't type that word. I Yeah, let me just get this so that people can see. Yes. So now what we have in Turkey, instead of Alavites or Lavites, yeah, what we have is a more European pronunciation, because we're coming towards Europe now. So many of these people who reject Islamic Sharia law and who have this Imam Ali are called Alevites. Alevi for short. Alevites. Can you see it?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. So now these Alevites are the followers of, they're connected to this Imam Ali. Yes. Let me, the Alevism. Yes. And what they do, and many people accuse them of a trinity, but they say it's not a trinity. They say their Imam is, they believe in one God, and in Allah, and the Prophet Muhammad, and in Ali. Yes. And some people accuse them of a trinity, but they say no. So now, as we can see, yes, Ali is put beside the name of Muhammad and beside the name of God. Yes. Let me just show when you go inside their mosques, or go inside their when you go inside their buildings, what we see is what we'll see is you'll find you'll find pictures inside their buildings, and the thing is interesting pictures. Let me just get one up, and then what we will see is that you know, they've got a man like this. This picture is very famous. So now they're called Alevites. So now the thing is, let's have a look according to the Bible. Yes, the Levites, priests. Yes. So now, according to the Bible, yes, the people who were the priests were called Levites. Yes, the priests who were telling you what to do. Yes. So now the Levites and the Levites are the same thing, as you can see. Can you see it? They were the judges. They were the priests. Can you see? Yes.
The Levites were musicians, gatekeepers, guardians,
Oh,
temple
oh yeah.
officials,
Do you know when
judges.
you go inside the Alevi? Yes. What you will see is something very strange. What you'll see inside their prayer buildings. Yes, you will see them that they have a dance. They have these dances and everything. Yes, and these are well known. You'll find them in Eastern Europe, in Russia, in Romania, in Bulgaria, in the former Yugoslavia, even in Hungary. Yes, and they must have been in Europe until um, um, uh, these Islamic groups were removed in the late 19th century from Europe
Well,
as the secular world
as you
order
know,
moved.
and I would like your opinion on this briefly, as I spoke with Endgame Islam about this, about the waltz in Austria, the waltz dance, and to what way it may relate to I forgot the name now, the dancing around the Kaaba, the circular motions, the waltz dance, like a Danube
Yes.
waltz, right?
Yeah,
And this seems to be a
because
remnant as
there's
well.
yeah that you mentioned that last time because that involves many different types of dancing and mystical dancing, what they call the Safa or Sophia, Hagia Sophia or Safa dancing. Yes, in Christianity, Sophia, purity, and different types of dancing that the waltz, the waltz of Vienna. I know about Johann Strauss. I like his music very well, and Johann Strauss II. When I go to Vienna, I still listen to it. Yeah, instead of modern pop music. If I'm in Vienna, I will listen to Johann Strauss. Now, many of these waltzes, you will see these people are still doing similar waltzes today. Many of these different, especially the Shia groups, are doing it today. But dances change in different communities. Yeah, and the point of it for the Safa dances or Sufi dances was because they said we will hold each other and things, but to keep the distance. Yes, so that there's no sexual contact like the nightclub dances. Yes. So the thing is, the dances got modified as
Hmm.
people brought in alcohol, because many people turn around and think alcohol was part of Europe, but let me disappoint them and show them that they're not telling the true history of pork in Europe. Yes, the thing is, because I checked the population of pigs in Europe, and that in many countries, one by one, I found a discrepancy.
I
This
would
is just
I
in
would like you
thought.
to continue. Just I have to bring this up because I thought about this recently. One
Yeah.
common way to insult someone in German would be to say Schweinehund, and this would mean a pig dog. And I just find it interesting because the pigs, this is the story you will explain right now, but with the Hund, Hund
Yeah.
sounds almost like Hun, and in German that just means dog.
Yeah.
So I'm
Ah,
curious if there may be a connection as well between
yeah.
Hund
Oh,
and
yes.
Hun.
Yeah, they have the same thing in England. Yes. The thing is, people use the word pig as an insult here, even to the police. They call the police pigs because the thing is, there was a war in Europe. Yes, many wars. So all these wars in the late 19th century, while Europe was being invaded, many people don't understand and seem to think about this carefully. But last time I showed that the main Christian documents, manuscripts came from Egypt. Where the hell is Egypt? Yeah, let's have a look. Egypt's in the Middle East. It's in the Middle East. Yeah, yeah, and let's just have a look today. And there's many people, they're quoting the Bible, they're quoting this and that. Yes, yeah, and you know, the thing is, what many people don't turn around and really think about, yeah, the Bible manuscripts that we've got, the main ones are written in a type of Greek form of writing, not just the what the common ordinary people used, but the writing style that was in Egypt. These are the Egyptians, guys. Let's look at this photograph. These biblical manuscripts of the New Testament came from this land where these people are today. And modern Islam is coming from there too. And we all have our you know, thoughts about modern Islam. We already do. And Christianity came in the same way with their crusades, yeah, with the peasants and all these things. Yes, and Europe turned into medieval peasantry slavery. This is where Christianity came from. Now, people will have to look at the previous video to just to check through these Christian manuscripts, which mysteriously came from Egypt. Let's have a look at who's in Egypt,
Yes, and just
and we'll
before
have
we
to
go,
imagine who their leadership was before. Yes. So the thing is, many people don't turn around and think. They seem to think, you know, it's something European, or maybe it came from the Jews, but in the Middle East. But when we have a look, a large percentage of the Jews came from Germany, from Poland, from Russia, from Holland, from France. Nobody is thinking these things. Yes. So the Christian manuscripts came from there, from amongst this civilization that we're looking at today. And we already have our views of when we look at modern Islam today. We just don't want to know, many of us, which is a
Mhm.
fact. But how come we're referring to these Bibles and saying, it says this in Revelation, it says this in Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John? What the hell's wrong with people?
Yeah.
I don't seem to understand this.
So just before we go
Yeah,
on,
go
could
ahead.
you please explain about the pork war? Because I hadn't even
This is
seen this.
very
This is
this
incredibly
is
interesting. Yeah.
this is very, very important. Yeah. What happened is that Europe, you can check that mysteriously, the people weren't so fatty. Yes, they weren't so overweight. We can find this in photographic evidence. Yes. And the thing is, people must have followed. Yes, they couldn't have followed the New Testament. They must have followed the Old Testament or principles from the Old Testament. It doesn't mean the Old Testament were the actual current version was followed by the people. But anyway, pork was forced upon the people. And these armies that were with the British Empire, the French Empire, and the people who forced their way into Germany and took it over in World War One, and after that, slowly in the princely states, they did this throughout Europe. That what they did was they brought pork throughout Europe and the Middle East. They brought it by force. One of the first places they brought it to in Western Europe was in England. And you know, this half the story is in the my book, The Orphan Trains. People will have to read it to see how they separated families, blew up the entire countryside in Europe. It took several centuries. Yes, it was the Vatican and their allies, like the French Empire and the Spanish Empire and the rest of them. Well, after they did these things, they enforced their type of what we would call Sharia law or Christian law, forcing the burqa in Holland and things like this. But the people in Holland resisted. This was the Protestant rebellion. It had nothing to do with you know, that they accepted a Protestant version of the Bible. Yes, the Bible came from Egypt, the New Testament especially. Yes, so it looks like they came from Egypt and then they moved into Italy and started invading north. Yeah, because we'll
Hmm.
see there's colonies there that turn up after the 16th century, and Rome didn't exist. It's a scam. Rome in the 16th, 17th century, it only had about 4 or 5 thousand people within the
Hmm.
small walls, and the suburbs 10,000 people. It's just fake history. So they brought pork in, separated families, they ruined the countryside, they burnt it in the 19th century, and in the first 50 years of the 20th century, all these wars and everything, they were just destroying the countryside. And then the people had no food, so what choice did they have? They had to have pork. Yeah.
Hmm.
So they've got a fake history about the fake pork war, saying it was an economic war. It's just a bogus history. Yes. Well. Anyway, people should think carefully and say, yeah, we're talking about these. Oh, it just so happens that there's 19,000 New Testament manuscripts in Greek. 19,000. Yeah, because people have to really think about these things. Yes. There's 19,000 of them. Yes. There's 19,000 copies. Yeah, some of them are incomplete. Yeah, New Testament manuscripts, which are mainly written in Greek, from the Greek that was written in Egypt. Yes, by the elite. It doesn't mean the people were using it. Now, whoever was ruling Egypt, yeah. Now, if the thing is, when we see Egyptians and they call them Arabs when they come to Europe today, does anybody want to listen to what religion that they want to share today? Then why are people listening to, when the Vatican forced its way through
Mm-hmm.
the Crusades, invading Germany and everything? Why are people willing to listen to this today? Yes, when they're not even saying that it was done by force. It was by
Mm-hmm.
force. Christianity invaded. It was an invasion. And what was Egypt? It was Babylon, but that's in a separate video. Anyway, I'd rather not divert. Yeah, let's go back to the priest Eli in the Bible, or Imam Eli of the Bible. His descendants were basically, they were slaughtering them. Yes, and what do you call it? The central worship, and they just called. And who organized these massacres? It was the first king of Israel. Yeah, his name was Saul. So now the thing is, this looks like official. The house of Israel. Yes, was ruled by Saul. Yes, and what he's doing is, he's massacring the descendants of Eli. Now, the next slaughter was by Slelly in his frenzy after David had given the showbread by, yeah, well, King David reinstated, some member of the family. Yes, and who were these priests of Nob? Yeah, they were called the Levites or Alevites, and the Alevites or Levites are the descendants of Aaron. Yes, specifically from the line of Itamar, Itamar, and Itamar's from his blood, children, great grandchildren, etc., came Eli. Yes, or Imam Eli. Yes, or the priest Eli. Yes. So the thing is, many people they're going to comment and point out in the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 22, verse 19, they'll point it out and saying there was the curse and the doom of God. Yes, so that's why they slaughtered them at this massacre, like the Muslims have their version called the massacre of Karbala. Yes, so the thing is, so it's a similar story. So now let's see, but when the ark, yeah, Saul sins. Yeah, let's see now. So now the thing is, what they turn around and say, they turn around and say that let's see what official Islam says, why Imam Ali's, why his family were slaughtered. According to official Islam or Shia Islam, yes, specifically they say, from that family, the two major descendants, Hassan and Hussein, and we've seen that there was two major descendants from Eli who died, yes, in the battle. So Imam Ali in Islam, it says because they refused to accept the authority of a man called Yazid. Yes, they refused to accept the authority, etc. Yes, so they rejected this man called Yazid to become the king of the Muslims or the caliph. So now when we go to the Bible, let's find the story for, or the reason for the massacre. The reason for the massacre of the descendants of Eli was because um, um, because these priests, they turned around and said, the Levites, they said, the Lord has rejected you from being king over Israel. They rejected him. You understand? So it's the same story once again, why it happened. Yes. And what do you call it? Um, same like the Muslims will say, basically, they all got massacred from Imam Ali's, the priest Ali, from his family, basically, except one. Josephus, the historian, they're going to say it's, thousands of years old, Josephus, but it looks like it's after the Renaissance and completed possibly in the 18th century. He even says, basically all of the high priest Eli or Imam Eli's descendants got massacred basically except one. And then what we do is when we go and see these Shia shrines, yeah, that we find that many of them are indeed nothing but suspicious. Like, for example, they say from the descendants of Imam Ali, there's a guy called Imam Reza, yeah, Imam Reza, and Imam Reza, yeah, or Reza, I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Yeah, he's buried in Mashhad city in Iran. Mashhad is same like Macedonia, Mashhad. Yes. So now his shrine is there, and who is he? Um, he was a descendant of this family. So now they say that his shrine is in Mashhad. So now the strange thing is, we could check photographs of many of these things. Now, if anybody goes there today, it's an amazing place. This is the shrine. Let's just that's what the dome looks like today, and it's just an amazing, beautiful building. If any, I recommend people to go there. It's just so amazing. I really don't know what to say. That they've decorated it in such an amazing way. It's just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. That I've got no objections to its beauty. Yes. So this is what it looks like. Yeah. And millions of people are supposed to go to this place. Let's just see. Millions of people have been to this place. It's like just an overcrowded place. Yes. So the thing is, many people will assume that when did this Imam Reza, what century did he live in? Yeah, Imam Reza, he lived in what century? Let's see. He died in the 8th century. Yes, he lived in the 8th century and died 818, they say. Yes, so let me just send you that information. Now, that would be okay. Anybody would think that that is okay until, yes, they have a look at this place, in the past, and then think, hey, we can't seem to find this place. Let's see what Mashhad looks like 100 years ago. Yes, and we'll know that the people came there only in the last 2 centuries. Yes, and Mashhad, notice that it's named similar to Macedonia. Yes, similar to Macedonia. Let me just let's see if I can find this. No, I don't have this information in front of me. I don't have this information in front of me. But anyway, the thing is we can see the dome has been modified. But the main thing is that Karbala, the main city, yes, the main city of Shia Islam. I'll have to go bring that out another day because I genuinely cannot find it online, and I don't have the information in front of me. But let me just go through the main thing about Karbala, which is, where the famous battle and everything. And the main thing is, here is Karbala in 1915. And the population of Karbala was only 29,000 in the year 1900. Does this place look like it's been having millions of visitors for centuries?
Not really.
Or thousands, or even many things. There's no
It
infrastructure
doesn't look
there.
very touristy to me, no.
Yeah. So now the thing is, Samara is the third most important shrine for Shia shrine. Samara, yes, Samara shrine. They call it Al Askaria. Yeah, is over there. And the thing is, it's the third most important Shia shrine. Al Askaria is there. Askaria, yeah, and the thing is there. So now the strange thing is, we will see a similar thing to Karbala when we go to this other city in Iraq, 100 years ago, that we'll find a genuine similar problem. Now, here is an aerial view of what's this city called? Samara in the year 1909. What do we see there?
A tiny walled settlement.
Yes, a few thousand people. And then I want you to imagine this now. The surrounding area is a desert. So they've got a wall there. I doubt big invaders are coming. So to keep thieves out and everything. So I want you to imagine this overcrowded place. High birth rate. Yeah, and this is 1909. Yeah, how long do you think these people have lived there? There doesn't seem to be any farming in the surrounding region. Could they have survived there for a long time? No.
Well, without farming or without very good trade network, no.
Yes, and there doesn't seem to be any road networks going there. To have all these visitors, you need road networks,
Right.
other
I
things.
was now thinking about this size of the population, which could be sustained by some deliveries, but yeah, it doesn't look like there's, a big
Yes,
thing going
yeah,
on there.
even to feed the animals and everything, and they must have had a small amount. Now, just enough for that small amount of population that's living there. And now I'll zoom in and I'll send you this a bit better, that we can just see that it's just several thousand people. Yeah, that you could basically walk from one end to the other. Yeah, and the thing is, the big building in the center, they must have done the trade there. They must have had the local gatherings there. They must have done the animal sacrifices there, and that place must have also stored the water. Remember, Iraq, it's a desert. Remember, you need water to survive. You see?
Hmm.
Yes. So and the thing is, the domes, yeah, the domes have not been there for a long time. Many old pictures show that the domes and these other buildings were being updated. Yeah. So now we have a problem with this Samara in 1900. Now, 1909. Let me just send you a few more other pictures of Samara as time goes by. So now let's see, 15, 20 years later, what do we see in Samara now? What do you see now?
S- I'm not sure what is that in between. I'm not sure what I see
Ah,
there.
no, no, no. That is something else. That's something else. The first photograph was probably taken from that tower. No, not from that tower. The thing in between, they call that this ancient Samara thing. But I'm talking about, what do you see in the countryside, in the desert that's surrounding the walls of the city?
Yes, is what I'm saying. I'm not sure what I see there. I'm not sure what
They've
it is.
developed the land for farming.
Oh, really? Okay, okay, that's what it is. All right. Yeah. Hmm.
Yes.
Hmm.
So what we can see is 10, 15 years later. So this means in the first photograph, the people forgot to start farming, and they've been there for 1,000 years or 2,000 years. But now, mysteriously, after 1909, you come back 5, 10 years later, they've mysteriously started farming and irrigating in the place. What does that tell you? That tells me that in the first photograph, the people had only arrived there possibly within 50 years or 100 years
But it could
maximum
also
after the
mean that
1800s.
some of the buildings, I mean, would you suggest that all of the buildings are new or that maybe it was abandoned at some point and was a small village that got
Right.
repopulated?
Now, the first building that's there, now what you have to do is you have to compare them to all the European walled settlements. And then when you compare them, this is when you can understand what the functions of these buildings in the center were. Yeah, if you don't compare them. So that's another long story, because we have these big cathedrals or churches that are in the middle of all these cities in Europe.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, let me just send you Samara again in 1900 so that people can see it. Yes, people can see it. Another view like that. You can see that there's no irrigation, there's nothing there. That the people within that walled place, few thousand people, could be even a couple of hundred. Yes, or if they were overcrowded in the houses, a few thousand people. So now the thing is, they've got to survive. Yeah, and even it's impossible that they could have had thousands of visitors and everybody coming. So as we can see, it's a total scam. It's a total scam. We cannot find this Sunni Shia history. Yes, I cannot find it. And then the thing is, let's go back to this thing about Imam Ali and the high priest Eli. Yes. What do you call it? Yes. So what happened is that Karbala, what it was, yes, and they call it Asura, is the festival. Asura is the main festival today, to remember this Karbala. Yeah, it says that Hussein, from the family of Imam Ali, or the Muslim Caliph or king or priest Ali, had his revolt against the man called Yazid, who said, "Oh no, I am the king, I am the Caliph." So they had their revolt. Yes, and so the same thing like the priests, Saul orders the attack on the priests because they rejected him, King Saul of Israel in the Bible. Yes, and that's why they got massacred. We see the same thing. Yes, the massacre, it says that they were plotting against him in the same way that there was the uprising. The page that I sent you before makes it clear there was the revolt and the plots or everything that they're refusing this king. So this king, yes, yes, and it says the priests were plotting, these Levites or the followers of Eli, or these Alevites or Alawites or the Alawis or the followers of Ali. Yes, so you can see it's basically the same history. Yes, you can see the Alevis and the Levites. Yes, so now the thing is, it's very clear that it's the same story that's just entered into these places. Now, another thing that most people are going to find very suspicious, that in many of these old domes in the region in the Middle East, there is no gold color. Yes, so let me just show that when people go to this place called Jerusalem in Israel, yes, what we will find is the Muslims have said, hey, this is our important shrine on the Temple Mount and everything, and you'll find a gold dome there. Yes, and the strange thing is, this is in my book. What Jerusalem is in Europe. Yeah, what we will find is that that dome was only changed into gold in the 20th century. There was no gold dome there whatsoever. Yes, that the thing is, they did it, decorated it, and who is they? Yes, this is very important. So what we will find is that there's no gold dome there. Yes, in this mosque, and it was mysteriously called the Mosque of Umar, Omar or Umar. Yeah, many people pronounce it different. Somebody said I got it wrong. Yeah, so we'll find a similar thing of these buildings found in Iran and Iraq, that these domes are not gold. Yeah, that they've just been redecorated. Yes, that they've been changed to gold in the 20th century. Now, it's very important to know who was dealing with the administration of these places while these things were happening. The British and the French occupied Iraq, Syria, and what is known as Palestine, or today called Israel and Lebanon, and these regions. So we can't seem to find these golden domes. Like, for example, here is a gate going into Mashhad in Iran in the past, and here it is today. It's been redecorated to be given, highlighting, a religious significance. Yes, so these gold domes aren't there. So now what we will find that is so strange about this place, about these places, let me just give this, show
So
this.
just with this example, to be clear,
Yeah,
they just added a tower and they also added a clock, right?
yeah, yes.
Hmm.
So they're doing many of these things, but of course, many people are going to say to me, "Oh no, these places were ancient." Yeah. So now let me just show you. There was Saudi Arabia when World War One happened and Germany lost the war. Yes. What happened is that Saudi Arabia, Ibn Saud, yes, Saudi Arabia expels um, a guy whose name is mysteriously Imam Hussein. Yes, yeah, and they basically throw these people out. Yes, Imam Hussein, which is in the 20th century, suspicious the name is Hussein, and from the family of Ali, he's called Hussein. Yes, and they went to Jordan, Palestine, and Iraq, where these shrines are. Yeah, the shrine on Temple Mount, Al-Qazar or Al-Aqsa. Yes, and so Hussein, um, son of Ali, mysteriously is called Hussein, the son of Ali, and yeah, what do you call it? Yes, was exiled. You know, basically thrown out. He's got the same name. And now the strange thing is, this man was the Imam of Mecca, Imam Ali, Imam Hussein, the son of Ali bin Ali. Yeah, like bin Laden means the son of. Don't you find this very suspicious?
I'm not sure and completely understand yet also because it says that Saud bin Abdulaziz,
Saud. Yeah,
that
that
he's a
that's Saudi Arabia. That's why it's
yeah.
called after him. Yeah, because he took over. Before that, it was the Ottoman Empire or the Germanic Otto the Great. And they were building the train line from Berlin to Mecca. So now, when Germany collapsed in World War One, Ibn Saud the official you could say the official governor, yes, of Mecca, the holy site, was a man called Imam Hussein. Same like the child of Imam Ali in ancient times, historical times. His descendant was called Imam Hussein. So in Arabic, you will call him Hussein bin Ali. Mysteriously, they've both got the same name. Now, this man in the 20th century has got the same name, Hussein bin Ali. Yes, and he was also called Imam Hussein. He was the Imam of Mecca. You see? Yes. Oh,
Well,
you don't see it.
the one thing I just don't really understand is how this relates to the Saud.
Oh no, Saud is the invader. Let's say if I'm invading.
All
So
right.
they took over and they threw him out. So imagine I'm invading Austria and I'm throwing what do you call it, Hitler out. I've just thrown him out. So Saud's invaded. Like today the Saudi family are ruling, the princes. So now this man, he becomes the Imam. What do you call it? They've mysteriously got the same name, and you'll find two different pages on Wikipedia to differentiate between them. Yes, I'm going to send it. One of them lived more than 1,000 years ago. One lived in the 20th century. Now, Hussein, the
Mm-hmm.
son of Ali, was the Arab leader, and he was the Imam or the judge of Mecca, the Emir or the Sharif. Now, the other Hussein who got killed 1,000 years ago was the son of Imam Ali, the priest, yeah, of Shia Islam. So now in Sunni Islam, they've mysteriously got the Imam of Mecca called Imam Hussein bin Ali, the son of Ali. Yes. So now he gets expelled. Where do they go? He goes to Jordan. His son goes to Iraq. You see, and then they manage these buildings and they modernize these places. You
Mm-hmm.
see, so under their administration, started the modification of what we call Temple Mount. The Gold Dome soon came on after that. And under their administration, what we found is that in Iraq, yeah, let me show you now, this Imam Hussein shrine in Karbala here is, what do you call it? Yes, the grandson of Imam Hussein bin Ali, who was the leader of Mecca who got expelled in the 20th century. His grandson is going there inspecting the modifications and the improvements. He's visiting the shrine of Imam Hussein. Can you see it? Yeah, and they're
So
doing the modification.
just
Yeah,
to differentiate between, without judging it, let's say old order and new order, this would mean that Hussein bin Ali already was part of the new order and started the reconstruction, but only he also got thrown out by the Sauds, who were a stronger force or something. But he already
the
was starting. He
yeah.
already
Oh,
started the revisionist
that's a
process, let's
private
say.
conflict. Now the
Okay.
strange
Mm-hmm.
thing is, why are the names the same? Were the names invented in history? This
Right.
is one, like, for
Mm-hmm.
example, yeah, when the British invaded Baghdad, Baghdad was a bigger city in 1917, because I don't want to divert. Have a look. Baghdad, you can even see these shrines and mosques are basically non-existent. It's not what we see. And going back to the Sharif of Mecca, Imam Hussein bin Ali of Mecca in the 20th century, here's here's one of his descendants in um, in Karbala, I think it is. Let me just get this correct. Yeah, because in 1950, yes, this is one of his grandsons or great grandsons called Faisal. King Faisal visits the shrine of Imam al-Abbas this time. Yes, and he's there in 1950 while they're doing the modifications and the upgrades and making the spaces bigger for the visitors. Oh, they did the same thing that in my book. Jerusalem is in Europe, and you can find the information online when they're refurbishing under the British, and it's like everyone says King Faisal of Iraq, and these people were put in power by the British. Let me just show who put them in power. King Faisal, Iraq, placed by the British. Yeah, it was basically British rule. Yeah, to ease resistance. Yeah. So what they did is they brought this guy from Mecca. Yeah, him, his kids, and his grandkids. They ruled until the Baathists came, the Baathist Revolution. Yeah, yeah, they ruled by force. The British walked in with guns and said, "This is your new leader now." Yeah, so the British could do anything because the translators was from this family, the same family that got expelled from Mecca. Now they got expelled from Mecca, but the British supported the other side as well. Yes, the Foreign Office, yeah, the Foreign Office, and Winston Churchill, they named Faisal, or I think the Muslims pronounce it Faisal. Yeah, the name Faisal comes from, in Europe, it's actually Basil or Vasily in Russia. So it's the same name. Many people will say, no, they're foreign names. No, they're not. It's just a different pronunciation. Yeah. In Slavic, it will be Vasily. In English, it will be Basil. Yeah. So the thing is, these people were just put in power. It seemed like, they could put me in power if they want. I don't mind. Yeah, whatever the British say, put a gold dome on, put this on. Sure, fine, that's okay by me. Yeah. So the thing is, all these things were going on. So now, the thing is, his dad became, or his brother or his cousin or something. Yeah. There were two Faisals. Yeah. Let's not get confused. Yeah. Um, like him and his descendant became Faisal the Second. So Faisal the Second, yeah, are the ones that I've sent you the photographs of. Yeah. So the thing is, what do you call it? On the other side, we've got um, um, now Mecca is known as Masjid al Haram. Yeah, it's called Masjid Mecca. The official Muslim name is Masjid al Haram. Yeah. Yeah, Masjid al-Haram, you could see that here. This is the official name of Mecca. So I want you to think right now. You've got Muslim Hajj going there, and you are the leader of this place called Mecca. Yes, and you're called Hussein bin Ali. You've just been thrown out, you and your kids. How much money are you guys making, by the way?
Well, if I own this place, probably a lot.
Billions for that time. So now you've been thrown
So
out and
just to
you've just been
understand, this
sent.
is like similar to the story with Jesus supposedly crucified in Constantinople, Istanbul, to also get the pilgrims and the money, and this is a similar story.
Yes, yes. So now I want you to yeah, it's a similar story. Yes, and now they're saying Jerusalem is in what they call Israel or Palestine, similar story. Because money, money makes the world go round. Yeah. So now I want you to think, you've just lost all that money. What are you going to do? You've just been sent to the deserts of Jordan and Iraq. It's a desert, and there's a few village type places with walls around it. What are you going to do? You've got the British Army as your backup. So now, what is going to be on the first thing in your mind? You're a millionaire, and now you've just become a beggar. You've just become a tramp. What are you going to do?
Well, if I really don't have money, extort the local population, I guess. I'm not sure.
Now, the thing is, because you were a businessman, you're making a lot of money. Yes, in Mecca. So what are you
Right.
going to
So
do
the
now?
assumption is I'm bringing the money with me that I got.
Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's if you've got any money left. You've got no cash left now.
Only an
Yeah,
army. Hmm.
yeah. Only an army now. So now, the British Army. So now, Mecca is officially called Masjid Al Haram. Yes. So now, the thing is, the family that's been thrown out Yeah, they're known as Imam Sharif of Mecca. He's basically known as the Sheriff of Mecca. Yeah, this guy. Yeah, Imam. He's called Ali Hussein bin Ali and his family, but they are known as he was given the title Sharif of Mecca. So now then, mysteriously,
And
he
then just
now
to be
goes to
clear,
what is
Sharif is the same as sheriff, or no?
yes,
Yeah.
different
Yeah, yeah,
pronunciation.
yeah, but I mean
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
government title, let's say, same in
Yeah,
England.
yes. So now this guy, he ends up going to Jerusalem, what's in Israel or Palestine today. So what does he do? Yes, there's a new mosque now, the Al-Aqsa with the gold dome in Jerusalem, and this mosque they call this one here Masjid Al-Haram of Al-Sharif, named after him. So now when he calls it Masjid Al-Haram of the Sharif, after his family, it looks like he's trying to start up the new business project. But now that you've got your sons grow up, they separate from the fathers. So what are your sons going to be doing? Imagine right now, there's you and me. Yeah, the world ain't big enough for the both of us. Yeah, that's what they say in James Bond. Yeah, so it ain't big enough for the both of us. We've just been thrown out of Masjid Al Haram in Mecca. Yeah, and we're making billions, trillions for that time. So now the thing is, we've just ended up in the desert, and we've got
Okay, well,
the
first
village
thing is
wall.
I would restart the same scam.
Yes, yes, Raphael, that is
It's a
what we
family
are going
trait.
to. Yes, and it's even got the family names in and everything. Yes, so now the thing is, they called him Hussein bin Ali. These names, yes, and titles because they can't seem to make their mind up. What was he called? Hussein bin Ali, Imam Hussein, or Sharif al Hussein, or the Sharif of Mecca? What's his name? You understand?
Hmm.
So now the thing is that family have turned around and the thing is so now the same process starts up in other villaged wall places, and you've got the British soldiers. Let me just show you the British soldiers marching into Baghdad, and you'll basically figure it out. They meant business. They've come and you've got to pay for them. And they weren't British soldiers. People are thinking that these soldiers who've just come to Iraq now and Palestine, that they're actually the British army, like the American army. Yes, but what many people don't know, yes, what many people do not know is that they were it was a business. Yes, yeah. The soldiers that came from India, and they didn't. They were not even British soldiers. They were Indians,
Probably
and from a
cheaper too, no?
no, wait, it was a business. It was the East India Company.
Hmm.
It's a company called the East India Company. So the thing is, right now, let's say we've got Amazon company, or let's say Apple company. They send their security guards. You see, yes, East India Company soldiers have just come to Iraq. Yeah.
To basically forge a new ancient site to make huge money
Uh,
off
so
of.
so so now the thing is, if we're business people, do you think Bill Gates, the vaccinator, he means business. So now it's costing you money to send your soldiers in your army. Yeah. Um, the thing is, are you gonna leave this place without any cash? I think I haven't. I didn't send you the picture with the soldiers. Sorry, the wrong picture. Here is the picture of the East India troops. Yeah. But wait, there's a big difference here. Yeah, what you will notice is that in the two pictures, it's because I have to keep translating it. Yes. So now the thing is, the first picture I sent you was March 1917, that they're entering Iraq, the British soldiers. And then what you can see is, look at the difference. There was no dome, and then the dome mysteriously comes on. Can you see it? Can you actually see it? I'm not sure if that's the same building or if the building in the background has no dome. But anyway, the dome in this picture, yeah, you can see when the British East India Army there,
Hmm.
you could actually see the scaffolding and everything else that the building is the building and everything, it's
Hmm.
the bricks are basically new. Yes, of this huge building and the scaffolding. I've enlarged it. Yes, that on both photographs you can see that somebody was doing this, and then the East, whoever was originally doing it, the East India Company got angry with them. That either they were doing it on behalf of the East India Company or they were doing a terrible job. Yes, and the Germans got involved because mysteriously, a few years before they came, the German army walked in with the Turkish Ottoman army. Yeah, yeah, and many people rarely seem to know that the Ottoman Empire history is a scam. It was basically the German army that walked into Baghdad, and they were building the Berlin to Baghdad rail. Now, all these soldiers who were coming in, yeah, for the photographs, they had a couple of hundred of them with uniforms. The rest of them just look like we don't know what the hell is going on, without proper uniforms, without proper anything. But somebody's got to pay for this, the shipping and everything.
Yeah.
You're not going to go there for no reason. It costs money. Yes.
Right.
So you can see it even in the first picture. Let me enlarge it, and you can see that the place is they're going to be saying it is under repairs, an ancient site. Yeah, but there's no evidence of these repairs in any of the photographs. There's hundreds of photographs of all these cities throughout the region. We can see that they're actually building these places and these sites, and that's what's happening. And the story, yes, the Bible has been modified. Yes, so has modern Islam. But what we can basically see here is the same story that is in the Old Testament is in Shia Islam. Now, this shows another thing, that the only people in the world, well, the main people who are protesting, who have made a big deal, a big issue about this Imam Ali. Yeah, the only people in the world that we can see who are complaining about the murder of Imam Ali, yes, and the murder of his family, are the Shiites. Yeah, and the Shiite Muslims, they have their festivals every year. Yeah. Yeah, they have their festivals every year, and they do this whipping on their backs and things. You know about that, don't you? Yes,
Mm-hmm.
the
Who
chaining and the whipping,
who does
and
this?
the Shia Muslims,
Okay, really?
the
Mm-hmm.
Alawites, the Alevites, the Levites, Alevites. So now it raises the question: the Bible is mentioning the history of who? Whose history is it? You see? Yes. And what is Judaism? What is the Old Testament? Because the thing is, and is it really from thousands of years ago, or is it from the mentioning the history of the Middle Ages, that some
Mm-hmm.
battle happened? Yes, that the Sunni and the Shia are, many people would classify them as enemies. That you will see these people doing this. Yeah, doing these things with the Shiite flags and the whipping themselves. Yeah, and everybody knows this. And so the thing is, let me just find some of their whips that you'll see them doing with chains or with belts. It depends how strong you are. But some people do it with a belt or with a whip. Some modern people, they do it with the chain. Some people take their clothes off and there's blood on it. So now the thing is, they are remembering, saying that, hey, that when the kingdom of Israel set up, yes, the kingdom of Israel, they rejected the Levites or the Alevites and the descendants of Eli or Eli. Yes, you see this? They're rejecting this. Now the thing is, it is strange that the thing is, we find the same history in the Middle Ages in Europe. Yes, what we find is that Charlemagne, yes, they turn around and say that when the kingdom of Israel set up with King David after Saul, yes, what do you call it? The same history is in Europe's history. That Charlemagne or Suleiman or Suleiman or Solomon, yes, that they turn around and say the Suleiman was King Solomon. Yes, in European history they say, but they say, oh no, he's a different one. And then they say, oh, his daddy was King David. Yeah. But no, he was actually, they gave him a new fake name called Pepin, and then they said no, he was a different King David. Yeah. And they turn around and say, what do you call it? They ruled Europe, but this Europe from Italy to Holland, oh, this was a new Israel. It's not the old Israel. The old Israel was thousands of years ago, but it's exactly the same history. Now we've got the same history, Sunni and Shia, yes, and in Europe it's called France and Germany, the Franco-Germans.
Mm-hmm.
They turn around and say that this Israel divided in Europe, yes, and it became France and Germany, yes. Or some other people will say that in other history it became the Slavs and the Anglo-Saxon barbarian Huns. Yes, the barbarians, the Germanic barbarians and the Slavs, he divided into two. Yes, so we have the same history, and for the Middle East, it's Sunni and Shia. So now this looks like this is a global history. It is the same history being repeated. Now, if this history is in Europe in the Middle Ages, in the Dark Ages, Middle Ages, yes, and it's in the Islamic world, it's in the Middle Ages, this means this was a global civilization. Yes, that the kingdom of Israel must have been global and it wasn't just in the Middle East or what people are claiming. Now the thing is some people are saying that I've said that the Muslims didn't have this problem burying the skulls and bones. The Muslims didn't only live in the Middle East, they lived in Europe too. And
Mm-hmm.
but the thing is the Middle East was sparsely populated. The Middle East did exist. Yes, the evidence shows it did exist. Like, for example, the current Jerusalem, known as Quds, to the Arabs, this place looks like it's been there since the Middle Ages. But we can see that with the walls that are around it, that this place never had a population over several thousand people. This is what we can see. Now, the other places that are in the deserts, we can clearly see that many of them have formed recently, and the population increase. Something happened during the 1860s, 1870s Balkan Wars, the Russo-Turkish Wars, which they're calling Russian-Turkish Wars, but it's the Vatican Wars against Germany. Yeah, because they surrounded Germany when they invaded with the Napoleonic Wars. It's another long story. But anyway, what we can see is that this history is there, that Eli or Ali was the high priest. Yes. And the things, it's like there's a Mandaean friend of mine who speaks to me, and they tell me saying, hey, about the story of John the Baptist, and that Jesus Christ was the false Messiah, whoever advertised him or propagated him. Yeah. So and they say that their history is very old in the region too. But the thing is, when we look at all these cities in the region and everything, even in Iran, that they're showing Mashhad. Let me just show you Mashhad pictures. I've sent you the shrine pictures before, but when somebody looks at Mashhad itself, it's like it's very worrying. We can't seem to find this Mashhad. Yes, and this Mashhad seems to be um, non-existent. Let me just show you, or very sparsely populated 100 years ago. Um, I've sent you Karbala. Let me just find Mashhad. Yeah, or Urmia. Wait, I'm just looking for pictures of Mashhad if I've got them in front of me. If I haven't, then I'm sorry. People can do further research themselves. But you know, I think you're getting used to it now. Many of these cities where they're showing that the Moroccan invasion of Europe with Islam is just a hoax. That we can't
Mm.
seem to find many of these places. Like yeah, yes, I found Mashhad. Yes, I found Mashhad. I sent you pictures of Urmia. Urmia here is Urmia. Here is a city in Iran, a major city, a Shiite city. It's called Urmia. Can you see? It's mega populated today. But if you look at pictures from just 100 years ago, you'll see there's mud houses. The people have just arrived. Yeah, and there's the telecoms. This is in the 20th century. That you'd see that it's like a bit of a ghost village. Yes, it's like it's not very old. I'm looking for Mashhad. Yes, I found it. Because Mashhad is very important. It's a mega city today. Yes, with mega shrines. But Mashhad seems to be like you can tell that The people have just arrived. Here is Mashhad city. Yes, as you can see, is this is part of the city. Yes, it wasn't that very big, and there's mud houses. If you're going to be making buildings out of mud, then you know that the rain and the cold is going to damage it, and it's almost like you've just arrived before you start making the brick things. So the reason why the Middle East is poor, yes, some of these places, is because the people have just arrived. They've not been there for centuries. Yeah. And here is another picture of Mashhad. Yes, that you can see that these buildings are not very old. Yeah. That in the early 20th century, that you can see that they've just been built. Yeah. The walls. And somebody's going to say,
Hmm.
no, they're centuries old, they've been repaired. I've sent you an enlargement there. But the thing is, the population statistics don't just add up, do not add up to show that thousands of people have lived in these places for centuries, millions of people, and they've been having mega battles and mega wars. And they'll tell us about these so-called Safavid empires and history of the Shia empires and all these things. Yes, that that's what they will tell us, but we can't seem to find these mega cities or anything. Yeah. Any questions, Raphael?
I think I got the gist of it. Thank you very much.
Yes, you've got the gist of
There
it.
seems to
So,
there seems to be a pattern for sure. And also, maybe the easiest way for me to understand it is just like for example, French and Germans were divided. The same thing was with the Shia and the Sunni, and then just stories were invented, just like with nationalism, to give them a
yeah,
reason to oppose each other and not realize that everyone's been set up, basically.
yeah, and business is business. Money's money.
Mm.
Yes. People have to look deeper into it. That when the ruling powers of Mecca um, were expelled, and then they took over these other places, what actually took place in these places, and then who supported them. That many people seem to think that the British, it was the British in the Middle East. No, it was businessmen. Yeah, and they brought in their private people. Yes, they brought in their private people, and they're telling us this was a British empire. You cannot turn around and call Amazon and Apple the American empire. You know that they're ruling that they're ruling India and these places. No, there was something else going on. Now when people study these things further, they'll turn around and think, hey, what are British soldiers doing there? Yes, did they just go there? Who's paying their salary, their wages?
Hmm.
The generals, these other people need money. Who's providing the food, everything? There's the logistics of the soldiers, everything. You see? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the soldiers, while they're there, what are they doing? Do you think they're just sitting in these, empty deserts, or were they told to work and build
Yeah,
and do
they're
construction,
certainly
engineering?
good enough for doing basic construction work. And then
Yeah,
if I have some
that's what
people,
armies do. Many
yeah,
people don't know. In Europe and America, we keep the armies on reserves. People don't want to join the army. But if you go to places like Turkey in the last 50 years, or let's say Egypt, Morocco, Iran, Uzbekistan, poor
North
countries,
Korea.
Pakistan, yeah, North Korea, India, even in China, yes, soldiers are used to actually used towards building roads, building big buildings, many other things. They're used for construction projects, planting trees and other things for water irrigation projects. Many people are not aware of these things. Yeah, so these soldiers came, they got paid. The thing is, you know what I mean. Yeah, and it was the company, East India Company. Business is business, and then you've got the governor of Mecca, and they've just been expelled. And if you're a billionaire and you've just lost all your cash, what do you think you're going to do? You're just going to open up a new shop. Yeah, and if your children have grown up, your sons, things like that, they're going to say, "I'm going to do what Daddy's doing. I'll open a shop too." Yes, this is what people
Right.
do. Yes, you open one shop, then the shop grows bigger. It becomes a supermarket. Yeah, when it's a supermarket, yeah, there's millions of customers coming and going over the years. That's what many of these religious sites have become. It's like a business. They're like supermarkets. Yes, and so you've got to keep this fake history there because it's helping to make money. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is something that is kind of obvious, but because we are so immersed in it, it is not so easily noticed that basically determining history, not only because of belief systems and then larger things like conflicts,
Yes.
but even on a basic thing like doing pilgrimages, is a huge cash cow, obviously.
Yeah. Now the thing is, because some people are going to say, is recently I've seen about 4 or 5 comments saying David's preaching Islam. If I'm saying that there was no such thing as this Islamic history in the Middle East and this war, then that I'm showing not just in the Sunnis and the Shiites, Jerusalem and all these other cities, I'm showing that it's just a business and things have now become emotional for people. Then I'm basically saying Islamic history is a lie. Modern Islam is a scam. It's a
Hmm.
lie. Now, the thing is, now we find the same thing in Christianity. Modern Christianity is a scam. Now, there is a thing, I've mentioned it in my books. There was an original Christianity and an original Islam and an original Judaism, which started from genuine politicians or genuine people who wanted to make the world a better place. And many of these were political leaders, um, like we've got today. Donald Trump is a politician. So what we can see, according to the Bible and according to the Quran, King David and King Solomon were political leaders. Eli or Ali in the Bible, he was a political leader. He was a judge. Yes, he was a judge. He was the ruler. Yes, not only that, he was the religious priest too. So these people made the laws. Yes. So what happened is many of them were probably, good people who had good policies, and they were professors, what we call prophets. Now, the thing is, I'm not saying any of these people are divine. Yes, I am saying that they're based on actual historical characters, and the thing is, the stories have gotten out of control, and people are hurting each other because of these things. Sunni, Shia, Alevi, Alawite, Orthodox, Orthodox modern Judaism, secular Judaism, Zionism, Orthodox Christianity, Seventh Day Baptist Church, the Roman Catholics, the Armenian Church, the Ethiopian Church, the Coptic Church of Egypt. Many of these people, they're getting involved in fights. People are insulting each other and many things. So the thing is, people have got to look back and think again. And somebody mentioned saying, "Hey, David saying Christianity, these manuscripts came from Egypt. This means Christianity was there centuries ago." I've made it clear in my book, The Matrix Codes, that there was Christianity has evolved and changed over time. That what we can see is that there was an original Christianity, which Anatoly Fomenko has pointed out, showing that Islam was originally Orthodox Christianity. It was the same religion. Yes,
Hmm.
call it Orthodox Christianity or call it original Islam. Give it whatever name you want to. Yes, and that was original Judaism. Yes, until the character Jesus Christ came along. So the thing is, in the Matrix codes, I've shown that there's the ruling powers of Egypt. Yes, linked to these pharaohs who were not ancient, but from the early Middle Ages. What they did was they invented a trinity. And this Trinity can be seen in the Book of Hours or the Book of Horus. Hours, Christianity, they call it the Book of Hours or the Book of Horus. Yes. Now, in this book, the Trinity is clear. It is the Father, the Mother, and the Son. There's a woman there, a lady Trinity. Now, the Quran mentions this Trinity, saying there's the Father, Mother, and the Son. This means the Quran must have appeared at the time that that Trinity was in practice. And because we can see that modern Christianity has changed, and it looks like it was possibly after the Renaissance. Some other researchers say that the 19th century, we can't find it, or 100 years of artificial history were added on in the 17th, 18th century, especially many of these French researchers that I mentioned to you in recentism. So it means that this will bring it down to the 17th century, where they invented the new Trinity with the Holy Ghost or the Holy Spirit. Yes, and they
Hmm.
changed it from the Father, the Son, and the Holy Mother of God to the Holy Spirit. So it's been changed. This means that modern Christianity and these Christians are all new. Yes, this it means
Mm-hmm.
that they're all new, updated versions. Yes, and what we can see is that many of these places in the Middle East were sparsely populated. We cannot seem to find that when you look at Samara, we can't see any infrastructure or anything of visitors there to see that visitors have been going there for centuries, or in Mashhad, or in Karbala. There is no infrastructure whatsoever. That it's only a recent phenomena where people are saying, hey, there's 10, 15, 20 million people going there. Yes, and the thing is, because people from Iran and Iraq can't travel to other countries because they can't seem to get a visa in many other countries. Yeah, so the thing is, of course, they're going to travel locally, and there's going to be millions of visitors. And
Mm-hmm.
somebody might say that there's less visitors at the Vatican or at Hajj. That's because, how many people are going to be allowed a visa into the European Union, or especially Saudi Arabia? They're already wealthy, so the thing is, and they're charging mega high prices, to visit the holy sites. So they can limit the number of people because they know so many people want to come.
Mm-hmm.
If they want to issue 100 million visas, they can do every year. So it's not just about the numbers. The numbers doesn't mean anything to show that this place is historically valid. Now, the thing is, Mecca, this Imam Hussein and Hussein bin Ali, Imam Hussein al Sharif, yeah, who was the leader there. He was the leader there, but the evidence shows that this shrine at Mecca, what called the Kaaba, has been there a, a lot long before he came. I'm going to write about that in a book, yes, because it's too long to mention here. Yes, it's another story. But
All
anyway,
right.
what they did was they tried to duplicate Mecca and other things, create their own shrines, because these kind of things have been happening all over the world, in the 20th century in China, Thailand, in France, in Italy, in Spain. It's a business. People are profiting from it. And then the thing is, when each businessman makes his own shrine or own historical site, yeah, he invents the history, and then they try to fit it in with mainstream history, and when they can't, this is what's causing the conflicts. You see? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's
So
because
it's
I
basically the narratives are like competing business models.
yes, yes, it's making money. So now the thing is, where does it come to with God? Yes. Now the thing is, if you want to believe in a God, that's your own business. I've said this before. Now many people have said, somebody commented saying, David has said that according to him, the Bible, the Quran, the Talmud, the Mishnah are historical manuscripts, and we can look at them for history. Yes, that's what I'm doing. Now, if you want to bring out the morals that are mentioned in some of these places, or the religious practices, like the Old Testament, don't eat pork, or the Bible, don't eat pork, for you, it is a religious book document. I'm not bringing religion into it. Now, where I bring pork into it is historically, I can see that Europe was not eating pork. Historically, I can see that the Arabic language and the Quran was in Northern Europe before it got to the Middle East. Yes, before it got to the Middle East, because many people migrated there. Yes, and many people migrated there, and the Christian manuscripts are coming from Egypt. Yeah, if they're coming from Egypt, those people in the lands of Pharaoh must have targeted the Middle East before they got to Europe. And it's also seen that um, Eliezer, yes, or Ezekiel, or I forgot the story that he's in Babylon, and Babylon is Cairo, that he goes to Jerusalem, which is Istanbul. So from there, they targeted Istanbul. They got thrown out of Istanbul, then they got thrown out of Babylon in Cairo, and this is when they landed in the Mediterranean and invaded from Italy, southern Italy, and moved on to Spain, France, and that's the basic story. Anyway, Raphael, shall we leave it at that?
All right,
Or any
perfect.
any further questions?
Well, I'm sure the viewers have plenty of questions. If you have any comments or questions, kindly put them in the comments of
Yeah,
the video. And maybe, David, a few days after the release, you can read through them, and anything you find interesting, we can then
yeah,
also pick up on.
yes. Oh, the main reason why I did this today is because the thing is, so many Muslims contacted me, especially Shia Muslims also. And then one of them is a very important friend that I respect and who I like. And then I thought, uh, this information has to get out. Yeah. So the thing is, I don't want anyone to think that I'm anti-Christian or anti-Muslim. You can believe what you want. Yes. Make sure it's peaceful and it's good for other people, but please consider that there are other forces at work who don't care about religion. Yeah, when you go to these holy sites, who do you think is making the airlines available, making the road networks available, making that these shrines are decorated beautifully? Who's financing all these things, organizing all these things, and why? And when did they first start this process? For each shrine, for each one, think, look at the old photographs. It doesn't matter if it's the Shrine of Fatima in Spain or the Vatican in Rome, yes, or Milan Cathedral in Milan, or Karbala Cathedral for the Muslims in Karbala, yes, or Najaf Cathedral, or Samara Cathedral Mosque. It doesn't matter which cathedral mosque it is. Yeah, you've got to think who's behind it, what are their interests, who were the ruling powers in this region, and what were they doing? Where did the people come from? Calculate the population statistics. How many visitors were in Samara? Samara is just a very small walled village. We can clearly see that. It is not even hidden. We can see 100 years ago. And we can see that there's no transport networks or anything, or even anything to give food supplies or anything. That Karbala is another place that we can see is very small. These places were very small in the 1850s. Yes, and that the first few main big buildings that were made, same like if you read My Jerusalem was in Europe, yeah, the big buildings were specifically, yes, for the shopping and the administrative centers, as well as the water storage centers. Yes, similar to how these European star-fort walled cities were. Yes, they were built in a similar way.
Hmm.
Yeah, and then today they're converted into mosques and churches and synagogues and Hindu temples and Buddhist temples and shrines. That's what's happened to many of these places. Yes, and many of these places, if some of them were built 400 or 500 years ago, this is because many of these regions were important for mining. Yeah, that the main center was in Eurasia, in these fertile lands and other places, but the people needed minerals. So it's like they needed minerals and other things for the civilizations in Eurasia and all these other places. Yes. Okay, Raphael, let's leave it at that.
All
Yeah.
right. Thank you very much, David.
Okay, yeah. Have a nice day. Okay, yeah. Bye.